I grew up pheasant hunting, kind of didn't do it for a while because I didn't have them easily available to me. So I moved on to the ducks or the woodcock or whatever I could get to. And then now I'm back in this pheasant thing big time. And it's just one thing you and I talked about on the phone that I think is such a good message about this is there are so many bird hunting opportunities out there that people are not paying attention to.
Yep.
And they're buying into, like you live in Montana. Like you would, if I were to say, where would you go to shoot a limit of greenheads? Most people probably wouldn't say Montana.
No.
But you guys have awesome hunting here, right?
Yep. October 1st through January 18th.
And you
7 greenheads a day.
See, that's crazy. I mean, that's a lot of mallards. And you've got so would you pick ducks over everything? Is that your thing?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's over upland, but okay.
Yeah. But we, upland starts September 1st. So we can get a full solid month of our not for pheasants, but our sharp-tailed grouse, our Hungarian partridge, our rough grouse, blue grouse. So, that's a great time to be out in the woods and taking the dog out, doves as well. So I like going.
That's all September 1st?
September 1st, through January 1st.
You guys have roughs out here?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Quite a few down low along the creek bottoms. So and pretty much most of the mountain drainages, there will be rough grouse down at the lower elevation.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen the blue grouse a lot when I've been in the mountains.
Yep, and then the spruce grouse and the blue grouse are intermingled in the medium to higher elevations.
Do you hunt them all every year?
Mostly blue grouse.
Yeah.
Mostly blue grouse, yeah. Get up higher. But
why's that?
I just like hiking up getting up higher. You're kind of scouting for elk and deer maybe at the same time.
Yep.
And then, but I guess sage grouse, sharp-tailed huns. So, traveling to central, eastern Montana. I just like the wide open spaces and getting after those birds.
And you're running a lab for everything?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's awesome.
When you're talking sharp-tailed huns, sage grouse, you're talking potentially a lot of miles, a lot of country. So conditioning the dog. Yeah. We do a lot of trail running in the summer. Probably he's running 3 to 5 nights a week with me. Covering from 5 to 10 miles a night running. So pushing him a little hard. So then I feel comfortable, sometimes in September it's hitting 80, 90 degrees. We're not hunting, I'm still watching him carefully, but I feel like he's in good shape to cover a lot of that as long as, we have water. So
when you say trail running, I talk about this on this podcast all the time. The thing that drives me absolutely nuts is people letting their dog get out of shape and then going, okay, well, I'm going to hunt my dog into shape. Or worse, you're going to take, I guess I don't know if this is worse, but you're going to take that dog that doesn't do any exercise, anything for 363 days a year. And you're going to go to South Dakota for the opener. It's like, if you're running trails in the mountains, you know what it's like to keep yourself in shape. And you know what it's like if you ever let yourself get out of shape. And then you're going to go hunt. And so that's doing so much for your dog. I mean, a 5 mile run and a 5 mile trail run for a dog is no joke. That's a dog that's in shape. And that's better on the joints than running on the pavement. And you're getting his paws in shape too, huh?
He's on the gravel, in the dirt, the elevation. We're not stopping for water. We're not taking breaks. So we're going after it. And he's in better shape than me, I would say. Like he's running ahead and then he'll run back. And so it's like, maybe I'm not the fastest runner in the world anymore. So
you used to be?
I mean, when you're in high school and college, right? Like running cross country and stuff. Yeah. So and it's a time to work on obedience as well, I think. You're going to run to other people on the trail. So, he's always required to be next to me when we go by people. He's not, allowed to go up to other people. So
that's just you don't have him leashed though, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You have him under control.
Like at the trailhead or stuff. But no, we can run right from my house, within I'll run a mile, here or there. And then we're hitting the trails. So it's fun. Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems like way off brand, right? To say, I take my dog trail running, my hunting dog trail running, but every minute you spend with that dog doing something positive is beneficial for you and the dog.
There's bonding.
When you say, I mean, when you look at somebody who has a dog that's not, they don't have control of very well. They're not gonna. They shouldn't be taking it someplace where if it's off leash, it might be running up to people or whatever. But every encounter you have in that situation is a little training opportunity. Every run around a bend and there's people up there. That's an opportunity for steadiness, for place, for heel, whatever.
Exactly.
And
that's what we practice.
Think about how many little mini lessons you build into one run. And all of that, as a diehard waterfowl hunter, all of that stuff ties into having a better dog in the field.
Yeah. Because you never know what situation we're going to run into. There's safety, there's ice, there's, a downed bird that you don't really want him to go after because, say ice or the current or stuff, and moose or, there's all kinds of stuff we could run into. We're floating in the boat. I don't want him to jump out of the boat. So there's all that ties into just overall obedience.
Steadiness. I mean, the waterfowl thing, I always think like the hallmark of a really good dog is the dog that you can take dove or duck hunting and it'll sit there right at your side, send it when it's got to go. It's coming back to you, and then you can, you can do that in the morning, and then if you can take that dog sharptail hunting and it's going to range for you, that is a dog that knows what it's doing. And you can get there. I mean, with any good dog, you can get there, but it takes more than just a hunting training commitment. I mean, it takes that commitment to be, not only are you keeping yourself in shape, you're keeping your dog in shape. You're also working with your dog constantly. I mean, I think that's so important.
Yeah. So we'll go, fly fishing in the summer, wading, right? And so you got to obey the trespassing. You got to stay within the high water mark, so he can't go out. And then if I'm sitting in a pool fly fishing for 5 minutes, I don't want him swimming or running around. He's sitting there watching. So he learns to have that patience. Through other aspects of his life as well. So
I mean, and it's an obedience thing, of course, but it's also an experience thing. I mean, the more time you spend hunting different stuff with a dog, the more they understand what they're expected to do. And that's one of the reasons why I'm such a big advocate for shed hunting with your dog if you have the opportunity, because it's just like it will almost double your season time. And it's less, if your dog screws up a little bit shed hunting or something, who cares, right? It's more of an opportunity to work and less of a hunt. But it's also like hunt adjacent. And so you can just, where I live, this past winter was terrible because the snow was too deep, but generally it's like I can take my dog out a couple times a week to shed hunt, and you have that upland feel to it where you're in control.
They're learning how to use the wind. They're quartering.
They're ranging, and you can, it's different. I'm not going to lose my cool if my dog gets too far out shed hunting. I'll just stop, rein her in, whatever. If you go out, and this is the steadiness thing with the duck hunters, you go out that first hunt, or you go with somebody whose dog isn't steady, and then it escalates so fast because now their dog's acting like an idiot in front of their buddies, and their pride gets hurt, and they want to yell, and it's just not. It's not a good situation. You want to get ahead of that one, and of course, dogs will break. They're going to do that. They're going to get excited. They're going to whine. They're going to make mistakes. They're like little kids. But the more time you spend with
them, we make mistakes too. We miss shots. We don't see the birds coming. I mean, there's all different kinds of things.
Well, for sure. And I'm a big advocate for, if you have the chance to train for yourself. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people are busy, or they don't know what they're doing, or they don't have the confidence. So I'm like, find a professional, do that. But also be aware that you need to build that dog into your life. So even if somebody's rounding out the foundation work or the gunfire intro or whatever, like if you're honest with yourself and you don't have the time, pay somebody to do that right. Don't screw that up. But also, like, look at your life and go, where are the opportunities I can train this dog? Or where are the opportunities where I can just spend time with this dog? Like, I always think, I fish a lot this summer, out of my bass boat, and my dog is with me every single time. And it's just like that time, it might be 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and you're with that dog on this little boat. And there's so many little things where you'll be going along and the dogs will come out and bark on the dock, or you'll take her to the beach and throw the dummy or something. And your life can be made conducive to making your dog better.
I would agree. Both my last 2 labs were both started. So I realized I didn't have the time commitment. First time was because I just moved to Montana and I wanted a dog like to hunt that fall. And so, I had moved, I was ready to have a dog, wasn't, ready to have a puppy. I wanted to get right into hunting with a dog. And then the last time, was because we had just had a baby, and the first dog unfortunately passed away, kind of an overnight incident, and, just with cancer and tumors, and so we had to put him down overnight. And then, I wanted to get another dog pretty quickly because, I wanted to keep hunting, but we had a baby. So, but having that, having a dog with a solid foundation is great, but you have to then, spend the bonding, train them to your hunting style, keep working on the same drills that the trainer did, teaching them the obedience around the house, not whining, not barking when you don't want them, all that stuff that you do with a dog you raise from a puppy. So it doesn't end just because you get to start a dog. You really need to.
Yeah, it starts.
I mean, you can make it end, but all that benefit you had of getting to start a dog can be lost if you don't keep up with it.
Yeah, they're not miracle workers,
No.
right? I mean, you have to do your part, and you have to the great intangible with a great bird dog, besides the training, is the time spent with them. And not only the bond, I mean, there's nothing better when that dog figures out how far it should work out from you, whether you're pheasant hunting or if it's got to be right by your side when you're duck hunting, and when it's checking in with you, or that, you knock a greenhead down somewhere and that dog doesn't mark it, and you can send it out and you can go, you blow your whistle and you go this way, and that dog goes, okay, I trust him.
That's a lot of fun.
Oh man. It's there is something to
You can see
that.
it when it clicks in
my God.
in them too. There's some couple retrieves this year I can remember. Like, I was just like, wow, that's awesome.
It's so fun, isn't it? And it's like there's certain times, you dump one and it lands right in front of them, they go get it. Like with an 8-year-old lab, like, yeah, you're supposed to do that.
Yep.
But when you see the cool stuff happen where, you wing one and it makes it out there, or you got that one with some life in it somehow.
Yep.
When you watch that dog figuring that stuff out, man.
Yeah. Yep. Once they figure it out, it's pretty cool. Dealing with cripples and wounded birds. And the early season here is, a lot of cattails, a lot of ponds. So they're getting in there. They're either falling in there when you shoot them, or sometimes they make it in there. It's just, that's kind of part of duck hunting. And so we kind of take a really patient approach with it. If it's kind of hot and heavy, we'll kind of just wait and keep shooting. If it's slower, we'll get over there. If we don't find the bird right away, we keep it pretty calm. We're not yelling. I do a lot of like just whispering loud enough for him to hear me, because I don't want to get the bird worked up or other stuff. And I don't want to I want to have an enjoyable experience. So, but he's figures it out. I don't think we didn't lose one bird in that situation. If we couldn't find it, you back off, come back in half an hour. After you pick up the decoys, the birds calm down. It's left swim around a little bit, left some scent, and we pick them all up. But it's amazing, when you work that wind right, how you can just tell as soon as they hit that bird, they dive in, the cattails comes out. That's an awesome feeling. So
yeah, and it's a simple rule that we forget sometimes, right? When you have one knocked down, if at all possible, sometimes it's not quite possible duck hunting depending on the situation, but most of the time you can send them in with the wind.
Yep.
And we see this. I started carrying where I hunt pheasants in late season in the cattails. I started carrying a little roll of flagging tape with me, because I'm 6'2", and I knock a bird down, and I kind of know my dog is 2 feet tall. She doesn't. She has no clue. Yep. And, she may flush a bird here, and I'm shooting at the rooster here.
Yep.
And so, but what I found was, my problem was I'd mark a bird, and then I'd walk her over and start working her in. Then I'd be like, where exactly was that? Yeah, and, it might run 20 yards and hole up. Now I flag the top of some cattail somewhere right when I shot.
Okay.
And then I can just position my dog where I go, okay, now I know the cone, like the scent cone kind of thing. I know where the scent's blowing in, and I know how to start her, and it just got so much more efficient. But a lot of times you'll see people just go, well, fine, hunt dead. Yeah. And then you're just waiting, and that dog, it doesn't know where to start. So it's just like working off of, well, okay, maybe this way, or he's looking this way or something. And it's a team thing. Like the best nose in the world is gonna need your help. And you're talking shooting ducks in the cattails, like that situation. the best dog in the world is still going to need you to guide them in so many different, during so many different instances.
Yep. You get, because you can just get lost in a cattail maze. Like you said, and even walking 30 yards and seeing it from a different perspective, you can be like, oh, you can still be 20 yards off, and you're like, without a wind or anything, it can be tricky to find that duck. So that's like one of my strategies is if it's that kind of situation and I know the bird's dead already, like, we'll, if we can't find it right away, we'll just back out, keep hunting for half an hour. That scent will then distribute in that area a little stronger, and we can go back and pick up that bird right away a little bit later. So
do you find sometimes, especially with a seasoned dog like you're running, sometimes when you have to reset them like that, it's just like you can, you start to get a little frazzled. Even if you're staying calm, you're like, I know it's right here. But if you just back out, reset, the dogs seem to follow your lead.
Yeah.
And then you walk in, you're like, okay, hunt him up or find dead.
Yeah, he seems fine. So he's
they're like little kids, man. They play off us. If you're edgy and angry all the time, they're not going to be having fun. But if you're loose and goofy, they like it.
We try to keep it fun. I'm out there to have fun. With with the right obedience, but I'm not out there yelling or screaming or we're having a good time, and if we have to back out and come back a little later, that's fine. So I
can't stand yelling.
It doesn't help anybody.
Well, it's just I just don't like. Maybe it's because I've spent so much time bow hunting, but I hate making noise, unnecessary noise out there. I'm just. It's one of the reasons why I run a flusher. Like I don't know if I could ever get used to a beeper collar, on a pointer or whatever. And I mean, I know people who live off of it, and that's fine for them. But like for me, especially if I hunt by myself with my dog, I love not having to say a word or just a whistle or snap my fingers and point or whatever, and not make noise. I'm the same way. Like I don't, you see people kind of. They don't seem to care, especially with upland stuff. Ducks are going to be quiet if you see them coming in or whatever. But I see people get out and slam the doors, grouse hunting or whatever. And I'm like, why? Like, why not just err on the side of being a little quiet?
Yeah. We've kind of incorporated some of our own sign language, I guess, that I've taught him. I mean, he knows the hand signals and stuff, but I'll just kind of like pat my arm against my leg, and he knows, to come back and heel, so I don't have to, say anything. Or we've got some quiet whistles that I just whistle instead of using a real whistle. Or when we're looking for birds or whatever, I just I use more of a keep hunting sign with my arm, and so and I just talk loud enough for him to hear me, really. So and then I think with the tone, when there's times where you do have to do discipline or correction, like your tone is fine, like how you do your voice. So, for safety, he doesn't care about snakes or porcupines, but if we've ran across a couple this year hunting, so when I see him or, you see him or something, you just want to get his attention and make sure he comes and heals or goes the right way away from that danger. So the tone is how it's not loudness, it's more the tone.
I do the same thing to tap the side. Probably every command I have has a hand signal with it. It just becomes that. And I do the tap the side thing all the time too, when I want her to come back to me. And I think they can understand. I think we don't give them enough credit a lot of times. And so I think when you build that in, like my dog, to lay down doesn't know any difference between if I tell her down or I go like this. It's the same thing. And when you're out in the field, if you can, you know what I mean? It's an amazing, that's an amazing experience.